Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, Christina, you can start. Yeah. I will be with the switch of camera, and because I'm like moving from one place to another place.
Okay.
But I am here.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Great.
So the aim of the Zoom is to tell you, Alejandro, about the trial lesson that we're gonna have for new students. So I will first tell you the steps that's gonna happen, and then I will go on straight to the presentation. So you also have a chance to see how it should be done on the first trial lesson. So the idea is that the students, they go on the platform first. They have like a test lesson there to get to know materials and everything, like they would do if they attended the course. Yeah, it was like with the group that we had. So the idea is similar. So first they go on the platform, they do the lesson, and then they come to a trial lesson with you, where you practice the materials that they have. But there's going to be a little twist because we're going to have a presentation. It's going to be 30 minutes of your lesson with some kind of presentation / some new materials about learning, where you give like some advice. I'm going to show you everything in just a moment. And then the other time is going to be Dmitry, who's going to talk about the methodology of their school. Dmitry, do you call it a school, a language center?
No, language course.
A language course, so methodology of the language course. So the trial we have a trial for intermediate level, and we're gonna have hopefully soon a trial for pre-intermediate and upper intermediate. But the system is gonna be the same. So your parts gonna look like this. So they come. And you start with the presentation. Actually, I prepared the presentation that's gonna go like, so every lesson, every like advice that you give and every activity that you do is already in the presentation. So you just move the slide and you follow the plan. Okay. So I'm gonna show you first the presentation, and then I will show you the material. Or do you think what's going to be better if I show you the material that you're going to do, and then I will tell you the presentation?
Show me the presentation
first. Okay, super. So I'm going to share my screen so you see it. Just give me a sec. Okay, just a second. Yep. So this is one presentation for you and for Dmitry. So I'm just gonna like start it first. Okay, so you start like, hello and welcome. Then you talk about, you introduce yourself, or actually it's better to actually start, no, you start with their names and just get to know each other, like them a little bit more. So ask them how they're doing and blah, blah, blah. And then you start with yourself. And when you start the lesson, you start talking about yourself, who you are, like maybe a little bit about your background, experience. And then you say that, so guys, here's our language course. You are going to have native speakers as your teachers and mentors. So it's not going to be just me. We have other native speakers from different countries, and you will all have a chance to get to know people from different cultures, different traditions, different countries, and you show them the slides. There are going to be photos here. After that, or like you just you introduce yourself, show the slides, tell a little bit about native speakers that they are going to work with. So it's like a introduction to the course. Yeah. Then you say, so the plan for this lesson is to practice everything that you learned on our platform. And the lesson was about technology and future. You can ask them, like, so did you have a chance to look through this material? I hope they're gonna say yes. And you say, okay, so now we're going to activate all the knowledge that you got and practice, so you have like a experience with the material. Then you start talking about this. And so before we start, let's talk a little bit about language barrier. And I have a question for you. So what do you think when you have, for example, upper intermediate level, do you have a language barrier at this such high level? They're gonna say no, probably. And you say, okay, and if you're at the level elementary, for example, you just started learning a new language, do you have a language barrier? And they're probably gonna say yes. And you say, well, actually, it doesn't matter what level you are, you're gonna have a language barrier no matter what, because it's not connected to our knowledge of the language, it's connected to our fear that we are afraid to speak. That's why in our brain we build some borders and barriers, and we are afraid. There are different reasons of that fear. So sometimes we're afraid to make a mistake. Sometimes we're afraid to sound silly. Sometimes we're just afraid to talk to strangers in a different language.
I just have one question.
Yeah, sure.
In the assessment of the 3 students that we just finished, because they say that they're an intermediate, but after the entire course, exactly. So that was my question. So because so in the assessment, how did they rank? Because so Evgenia is beginner, like, so Russian. No, in Europe you have the A1, B1, C1, something like that, right?
She's A2.
Yeah, so but we don't use back home. So but what I can tell you is that, like, Evgenia, she is definitely beginner in the end, at the very end of beginner, so she can make the jump into intermediate. Roman is an intermediate, like low level, and Natalia is in the middle. And the reason they make the same mistake. And at the end of the lesson, Natalia asked me if they were going to move to advanced. And I tell her, it's better if you ask that when you make the appointment for the next course, because you need to make an assessment.
So their idea, if you want, I can show you. I can tell you the levels that are like they are accepted in English language. So we have either A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, or we have beginner, elementary, pre-intermediate, intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced, and proficiency. And each level is divided into 2 stages. So for example, for Evgenia, she's pre-intermediate, but she's not like, we have entry and we have confident. So this is division. So Evgenia, she is a confident pre-intermediate. For example, Roman, he is an entry intermediate. He's not confident intermediate, right? And Natasha, I think she's the strongest from them, from among them, yeah.
You know, yeah, it's funny that she's the strongest, but they all make the same mistake. That's why
it's fine.
Because there's this mistake that they all make, and that's the reason why for example, I told them 3 main things that until they stop doing them, they will remain intermediate, and it's articles, forgetting words, and like, because they always.
So this is
so I mean, not about this group, it's for the future, because for example, and one thing is definitely going to help is that they are going to have the idea better explained. Because you remember at the beginning, they thought that I was going to be like a private teacher, which is definitely not. For example, like we just said a few hours ago in Telegram, like Natalia, she asked you that she was not clear, but I asked her, is everything clear? And she said yes. So, and then she told me something about the website, and then she told you something that I
Okay, so
explained.
there's actually a lot in teaching process that you have to think and know. Like what you're saying is a bit different from what I'm telling you right now. I'm actually talking about your language barrier.
I know.
and we
It's
actually,
just, it's just that. Okay, so my brain works weird. So when I remember the language barrier, I just had to say it because then I'm going to forget it. So it's just for you to like note it. So I
okay,
just don't want to forget this, like the evaluate, because yeah, my brain works weird, and then I'm going to forget it. So that's why I told you
okay,
to ask
thank
Natalia,
you.
because I work the same
Okay,
way. If I forget to say something, I'm not gonna say it anywhere, like nowhere near in the future. So just
okay,
like you can note it anywhere. Just um proper
noted.
medical,
Okay,
like this new group, we should have like a very good communication with them, like optimal communication, I think. So that's all. Sorry. So yeah, continue with the
it's
presentation.
fine. Okay. So this is what that's what you actually have to say, that I'm telling you what you have to say to them. So you have to talk about language barrier and saying that it doesn't matter what level you are, you're still gonna have it. It's just the fear, and the only way, there's no magical pills that you can take and then get rid of the language barrier. You just need to overcome and push yourself to talk more, and that's the only way to overcome it. So let's start the activity where you can start talking in English. So don't be afraid to talk. Try to use their like vocabulary to remember. You give them handouts with just simple questions about technology. And then you start activity. They just talking, like you divide them in pairs. They just talking to each other, discussing the questions that you gave them. And then you just like listen to their mistakes, write them down. And remember, I told you how to like monitor for the mistakes. So you choose the mistakes that were common. For example, the articles that what you're saying, maybe I'm sure some of them will say that, will make this mistake. And after they finish, you say, okay, great, well done. So it was like a first step of breaking your barrier. Now let's talk about your mistakes. And you show this. And you say, actually, mistakes are good. When you make them, you actually cannot learn without making them. If you're not making a mistake, it means that you're not actually using the language. So just you need, like with this slide, you just need to encourage them, saying that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to like make mistakes when you're learning and speaking. And then you start by, and now let's look at your mistakes. So I've written here some of the mistakes that you made. I'm not gonna say who did, it's not important. Just let's look at them. So some of you said this, like for example, I am doctor. This is an example, yeah. And you say, okay, so let's correct them together so we know the next time and we actually think about it. So I'm doctor, so what's missing here? Okay, great, it's an article, and you like write it on the piece of paper or on the whiteboard or something, yeah? So you go through like 5 mistakes, no maximum than 5, and you say, okay, great, guys. So now let's move on to our second activity. And the second activity is going to be about like agreeing and disagreeing. So give them some pieces of paper, like a card, and the card, they have a statement and they have to agree or disagree. It can be in groups, it can be pairs. You can do it as a group, like as a whole group activity, wherever you like. So before we start, you need to tell them about this. So how do we learn words? So in all languages, there is the thing, even in your native language, there is a thing that's called passive vocabulary and active vocabulary.
Yes.
You ask them, do you know what is it? You ask this question to them because it should be like interactive and you have to have a discussion, not a lecture. Yeah. And of course, some of them say, yes, we know, no, we don't. If they know, try to get the information from them. What is it? So do you know what's the passive and active vocabulary? Or no?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yeah, basically it's all the vocabulary that you okay, so active, as far as I remember, is everything we use.
Yeah.
But we think, like we actively think. So for example, like right now, I'm talking to you, I'm expressing my ideas and my brain. However, for example, if I would like now, let's suppose that because now it's teaching, my brain is looking for words that he knows they are academic related. Versus if I was speaking with my mom, we will be talking like completely passive vocabulary because the vocabulary that we already know. We have used it so many times that the idea is engraved in our head. That we don't even and that's why languages are not taught. That's why languages are taught in the language you want to learn. That's why, for example, I learned Russian in Russian, not in English. That's why people don't tell you. That's people tells you don't translate.
There are
Google
different
methodologies. I know the different methodologies, but usually people say that the moment a word becomes passive, like a word they use all the time, like I don't know, a word and no like phrase. But yeah, but you get the idea.
So here, what you need to tell them is actually how we get to the passive vocabulary and how we make it from passive to active. So you just need to show them stages so they know how we actually get the new words and encourage them to actually use new words. So what can you say? So guys, I will tell you now how we actually learn new vocabulary and how this new vocabulary becomes active when we speak, so we can actually use it. So let's take a word as an example. Let's try to take word put off. Do you know what does it mean? You ask them. I hope they say no. If they say yes, try to choose other words. So like try to think like a dandelion, something like rare word. Yeah. Say, okay, let's try like a dandelion, right? Yeah. So you've never heard of this word before. So you actually met it for the first time. This is how we learn like words. We meet them. It's a new word. So we do some exercise maybe, or we write it down and then we forget. So when we meet it the second time, maybe in text or you heard it somewhere, you don't know what is it yet, but you can recognize it and you're on this stage and you're like, I know this word, I've heard it before. You're not sure what does it mean yet, but you on this word is here on the second stage. Then you need more time with this word. So you need to spend more time with this word, like maybe you need to put it in a sentence, or maybe you need to do some exercise, maybe you need to hear it several times. And then when you meet it or encounter this word a third time, you will actually know that dandelion is the flower, or put off means to like prolong something. Yeah. So it means that this word is on the third stage of your passive vocabulary. Then when you start, then you try to push yourself, you actually make yourself use this word. It's not really active, but you're trying to use it in a sentence as much as possible. And after like 100 attempts, you can actually say it without actually thinking about it. Like when you say, how are you? Or when you say, for example, meet, or when you say, I have a dinner, you don't actually think about this word. You just use it because your brain thinks, okay, that's super easy for me. And it's actually active vocabulary. So this is the approximate stages that each word and each phrase has to go through in order to get from passive into active. So the only way to start using your vocabulary is actually use it. as many times as possible. And how do you get the passive vocabulary? Well, you have to read and learn the words for the first time. You need to like read them, write them down, etc. So what we are going to do now, we're going to start our second activity where you have to use new words for you. So we're going to do stating your opinion, agreeing and disagreeing. I'll give you pieces of paper with some phrases and translation. So it's just easier for you for the first time. Please try to remember words that you have on the platform, because they're actually going to have this word on the platform. They're going to train the words there. And in your class, they're going to activate it. So this is like a little reminder for you. You can look at it. So don't use I think, don't use in my opinion if you already know it. There is no use, you already know it, it's already active. Try to use something new, like in my view, I don't know what else. I reckon, I believe. So in this activity, try to activate this new vocabulary. Of course, it's not going to happen like first time that you use it. You need to do it, but this is how we do it. So we are like practicing now. You start the activity in pairs, in group, whatever you like, and they do it. And then you're gonna do the same thing as correcting the mistakes. So you finish the activity saying, well done, you did great. I heard that you need some words of encouragement. I heard that you used some new vocabulary. Let's look at mistakes just a little bit. So pay attention to this. So you show it. It should be visible all the time. You explain something, try to make it visible, like write it somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So you finish the second activity, and then you start the third one. This is a grammar thing. They're gonna practice their future phrases like is likely to, he's bound to do something, future continuous, going to, and will. So there's gonna be a board game. I will show you all the materials after we finish the presentation. Yeah? Okay. So it's gonna be a board game. So before this, you can give them like a little, I don't know, advice if you want, of course. Like, so guys, if you don't know what to say, let me give you like a little life hack. So you can use words like, when you need a pause to think, yeah. You say, use little words. I'm not gonna put it in presentation because I wanted to feel like it's your expertise. It's not written in the script. So try to teach them. So guys, before we start to train the grammar that you had, let me give you like a little life hack. So do we have certain phrases that we use to fill in the pauses? You know, sometimes you need a pause to think or like formulate your idea. So you can use words like, and you give them example, like you know what I mean, let me think, like, oh, that's a great idea. So like give them, I can give you phrases that you can give them, yeah, like orally. Then you start the second activity, or third activity about like future. You finish that, you're gonna do only 3 activities. If you see that you're running out of time, just finish on the second one. You need to like praise them, say, great guys, you've done well. I see that you're like, you're gonna have a great experience, blah, blah, blah. You show this slide. Yeah. Well done. Okay, so here you're saying like encouraging words, and then you give a word to Dmitry. You're saying, so guys, their practice part is finished. Now Dmitry, our whatever manager, creator, CEO, I don't know, gonna talk to you and tell us a little bit more about our methodology, what sort of tools we use in order for you to get great results.
Okay.
That's it
Okay.
for you, like the end of your part. Dmitry, are you going to say something? Do you want to add something, or I can go straight to the materials?
No, I think that's fine. So the part which I will tell, we can discuss like after.
Not now. Yeah.
Yeah, because actually for now, like for example, even I can like call them by phone, and I mean while I'm out of Moscow, and yeah, talk to them. And yeah, Alejandro just need to know how to make the trial demo class and encourage them to join our course. Yeah.
Okay.
So you want me to tell him the whole presentation?
Actually, yeah, why not? Yeah, just let's do it because we're record.
Okay.
I mean, actually, yeah, why not? Yeah, let's do it. It will be recorded just in case. Yeah.
Okay. So then.
No, I have this question.
By the way,
the presentation you're going to show me now is Dimitri's presentation.
Pardon? Can you repeat, please?
The presentation you're going to show me now, because you said so it's going to be Dima's presentation, because you already showed me.
Yeah, it's going to be Dima's. Yeah, it's going to be Dima's presentation. You have one presentation,
which is mine.
Part. Yeah, the first part was yours that I just told you about. You're going to say that. You can do it with your own words, with your own pace, make it like faster or slower if you think it's needed. And the second part after this is going to be Dmitri's part, where he talks about the course itself, about the tools that we use, and some other things.
Yeah, but
okay, so I'll just
just in case, because like this is just an our idea, so then we will see how it goes. So just to know, let's show Alejandro the whole idea.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
no problem. Okay. Okay. So then what happens? Someone else, or you or Dmitry, comes up and comes up to their table or whatever and say, so great guys, so my name is Dmitry, or you continue, I don't know. So their practice part is finished. So you got like a little taste of what you're gonna do. Now, let me tell you about the tools and the methodology that we use. So you kind of get a whole understanding and a whole picture. So we use several tools and methodologies. So first, you can you actually say what do we use. So we use the communication approach, lexical approach. We talk about interval revision or repetition. We use a lot of our goal settings, things in learning. We talk about, we use a lot of positive emotions, and of course, we use the flipped classroom system. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about each, and of course, if you have questions, please, you're welcome to ask me them, the questions. Okay, let's talk about the communication approach. Every school is using it. Do you know what is it? You ask them, they say yes, no, blah, blah, blah. So yes, you're right. Communication approach is when we actually communicate and we use communication activities and communication situations in order to practice the language. We don't translate. We don't use grammar translation method where you just open the books and read the text. We actually want you to start speaking. That's why all our classes are created in a way so you can practice your speaking as much as possible. Next, you will use lexical approach. So have you ever heard about that? Do you know what is it? Can you guess? You get answers from them. And then you say, okay, so you can actually guess from their name. So lexical approach is when we actually base our education on vocabulary. You're gonna have grammar, of course, but it's always gonna be explained through the vocabulary. Yes, grammar is important, but we think vocabulary is more important because without words, it's really hard to express your ideas, even if you know some present perfect and present perfect continuous. I'm sure you can agree that sometimes we need more vocabulary than we need grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Then the main methodology, the main system that we use is flipped classroom. You had a taste of flipped classroom already. So all the materials you got through the online platform before the class, you had a chance to learn it, to get an idea what's gonna happen. Some of you, I hope, had a chance to study and do some exercise. And here at our speaking class, we practice everything that you learned before. So that's the basic idea of flipped classroom. So it's 2 stages. First stage, you learn everything at your own pace. You actually have to be a little bit self-disciplined because you need to study materials that we give you beforehand. And then the second stage, you come to the classroom and with our native speakers, you train all the materials that you studied beforehand. Why we chose this method? Well, because we don't lose time of explaining materials. We actually spend this 60 minutes of practicing. So you're gonna do only practice. So you actually have more speaking time than like a traditional method that everyone uses. Okay, let me show you a little bit of the timetable, how it can look. So this is just an idea. So on Monday, let's imagine that you're already on the course. On Monday, you study the first lesson. We need to change it. On Monday and on Tuesday, on Monday when you start practicing and learning the first lesson on the platform. Then on Tuesday you can continue it, or maybe you didn't have time to do it on Monday, or maybe you had like only 10 minutes. Then you have a chance on Tuesday to continue studying, or maybe to learn some new vocabulary from the lesson. Then on Wednesday, you actually have a speaking class where you practice all this information, where you activate the information that you got from the platform. Then on Thursday, you start second lesson on the platform. You have 2 days to complete it. And then on Saturday, you come to a classroom and practice all the information that you got. So the platform is the course itself designed so you actually have time for revision, revision the material. So it doesn't mean that you're gonna start one topic, study one topic, and then you completely forget about it. Actually, the course design itself, so you have like a little repetition now and then. And during this whole week, you can actually work with into like dictionary on the platform, and you can come to our speaking clubs. I'm gonna tell you about those great events a bit later. So let's move on. Let's move on and talk about this great thing, the interval repetition. Mm-hmm. So the best way to actually learn the vocabulary is to revise it. If you remember, Alejandro told you before what are the stages, how to get the vocabulary from passive to active. You need to actually work with this vocabulary, with new phrases. You have to use it many times, and you have to revise them. So there is a great tool that you can use. It's called interval repetition. Is when you revise words, not just once, but you actually have small intervals that you come back to the vocabulary. And when we start the course, you will actually going to have a lecture from our methodologists that tell you in more details how to use this approach in order for you to achieve better results in learning new vocabulary and actually using it in your speaking. Okay, then let's talk about goals. So guys, I have a question for you. What's the difference between a goal and a dream? Is there a difference? They tell you if there is a difference, and then if they say something that's connected to truth, you say, oh, yes, great, guys, great. So you're right. The dream is something that is just dream. It's not achievable. It may never happen, but goal is actually exact. You know the steps, what you need to do in order to achieve it. Yeah, so it's achievable. So we believe that you actually need to set goals in your learning process. So you understand where you're going, what is the final stage, and what you have to reach. Otherwise, the learning process can take more than like 5 years. Remember your school, right? So if you don't have clear goals in your learning, you can learn language forever. But I'm sure this is not what you want. That's why when you start the course on the platform, we will help you to set your own goals for your learning with us and for your learning English in general. And we use different techniques from business, so we are sure that they're working because they've been used. How do you say it in present perfect continuous passive? They have been used for many years, and they show it's shown that they are very effective. Okay, next one. Let's talk a little bit about emotions. Did you know that negative emotions are much stronger than positive ones? Did you know? You ask them, they say yes, no, maybe. Actually, it's true. It's really easy to experience negative emotions when something is not right. You have like failures, or you don't understand something. They're very strong, but they're very those emotions, they don't help us in learning at all. They're very destructive. For learning, to have like a positive experience and have higher results, you actually have to have positive emotions. That's why every class we try to create such way that we actually have fun, have interesting discussions. But if you feel like negativity inside, that you don't understand the topic of something, try to think about this slide. We're not saying that we're not saying that you can't feel it. It's impossible. You should always avoid it. No, we're all humans. We understand that there's always a negativity if you don't get something right from the first time. But try to keep a positive attitude. And if you have any problems or questions or feedback, we are open. We'll welcome you. So get back to us, and we can help you to get through the situation that you're experiencing. Okay, I'm almost finished. I promise. We'll have just a couple of slides. So one of the things that it's important to remember to try not to control the logical process of studying. So you came to us, you trust us, we hope. You're gonna trust us, we hope. And we have built the program this way. So it's actually working. And we are sure some of you will have some, how do you say it, will not accept it because it's not really traditional format.
But we have doubts.
Yeah, we have doubts. Yeah, but this is okay. Like for example, when you buy a ticket to the train, you don't control the mechanic, right? You don't come to the guy and say, "Oh, where are you going? Or what is the speed? Can we stop?" You just buy a ticket and you trust the process. So it's important to trust the process that we're creating. It's actually working. So this will not help you in the learning process, right? So just for you, like just for your information. Okay, the fun part. Have you ever heard about learning curve? Like how do we get skills? Like how do we gain them? How we learn to do something? Have you ever seen this learning curve before?
Me?
Yes.
Or do I ask them?
You ask them.
Oh, okay.
They say yes, no, blah, blah, blah. So actually, language is the skill. And you train it as a skill, right? So just to have a simple example, let's say like riding a bicycle. It's also a skill, but like a physical one, right? So there are 4 stages that should happen in order for you to learn the skill. So first stage is when like you ask yourself, what is it? It's you for you. When you look at someone who's riding a bicycle and you say, oh, that's easy. Like you just sit on it and you go. You don't need to like think about it. So majority of you on this level, especially like it's true for elementary students when they just start and they think, oh, great, that's so easy. I'm going to spend 3 months and I'm going to like speak as a king, right? So then you start, you move to a second stage and you kind of get that it's not that easy as you thought, right? You come to this stage. It's the second stage of all skill gaining thing. It's called you understand that you can't. It's like here. You understand that it's difficult. You have to learn a lot. You have to spend a lot of hours in order to start riding a bicycle, right? It's not that easy. You have to think about balance. You have to think about where you're going. You have to avoid hitting a tree, right? After some time learning and practicing the skill, you come to, and actually as you see, this is like a downside here. Usually here people stop learning. They say, okay, it's not for me, it's too difficult. They give up. But if you understand this, if you understand this curve, it can actually help you to move forward and go to the stage number 3, is where you kind of understand and you kind of start happening, right? You start riding a bicycle. You're not really sure how to do it. You still have to think about balance, but you actually can go in a straight line. And then you come to stage number 4, where you understand that you know it, but you like where you don't actually have to think about it. It just comes to you automatically. When you ride a bike and you don't think about balance, you don't think about should I turn right, should I turn left, you just do it. So actually this happens with the language too. When I will tell you the phrase, how are you? Do you think about Why, how, why we have are, why do we use you, why it's not the other way, what is grammar, what is to be. You don't think about it because it's automatic. It's this phrase is on the stage 4. It's automatic, you don't think about it, but you went to all 4 stages in order to get there. So we are trying here to get you into the stage number 4, right? And in order to do that, you need to practice with us. You need to work a lot and you need to spend a lot of hours, and we will help you to get from stage 1 to stage 4 of the learning curve. By the way, if you're interested, it's like a scientific theory. You can read about it on the internet, and it's like true for every skill, for every language that exists in the world, right? So how are we going to get you from this stage to that stage? Let me tell you what we're going to study. And then you show them 3 more slides to talk about the program. So on the first stage of intermediate, you will learn how to talk about this, this, and this. Actually, I think these slides are not ready. No. Wait, sorry. So yeah, you show them slides. So you told them about results, the first stage, the second stage, and the third stage. And after you finish these 3 stages, you will get from the entry intermediate that you're like on the first stage. You don't know a lot of like vocabulary that you need to know, like locations that you need to know for this level, for intermediate level. After those 3 stages, you will be here where you're using it automatically. Yeah. So that you show it with the process. Okay. So do you have any questions so far? Is everything clear? Yes, no, maybe. So let's talk a little bit else. Let's talk about something that you can get and gain from learning English. Any ideas? What is it? So if you know English, what can actually give it? What you can get in your life? You need to actually get them like talking. You don't need to say anything here. You just need them to get them their ideas and get them excited. So like you can start, I don't know, you can get an English boyfriend. There are going to be many ideas. You can start understanding books in English or Netflix without subtitles. You can travel more, have better conversations. So whatever, here they use their own ideas. Okay, great. So, and for all of this experience and the results, you talk about the price. It will cost you this much money. I have no idea how much it's going to cost. So Dmitry needs to put some numbers here. And I have something else, like a bonus, cherry on the top. That's a great expression to use. With all of that, you're going to get English club. So if you think that you need more English practice with this package that you will buy or you're going to buy, you will get a free access to our English speaking events. Our English club will happen every week, this and this date, where sometimes we gather together and have picnics. When it's of course warm outside, we have our excursions around the city. Sometimes we travel to different cities together. So we have like a real great, cool community that you can be a part of. And because you're so awesome, I have an amazing deal for you. So if you if you pay right now, you can get a discount and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So that's the whole presentation.
Okay, but that, I mean, that entire sales pitch,
Pardon?
I mean, that entire sales pitch is up for Dima or whoever Dima put in charge, right? Because like I have enough Russian to teach English. I don't have enough Russian to convince someone to buy a product.
Yeah. This is not on me. This is, you have to talk to Dmitry
Okay.
about that. Yeah, I'm just creating this, right?
Okay, cool.
Talk to Dmitry. Okay, super. That's it. But I'm like, it was important for you to hear because there was some.
Oh yeah, some point. So I can get the idea because so now I know that because now I have like the, how do you say this? Not the background, not the backspine.
Well, yeah, you get a whole picture.
I have the whole picture.
Happening.
And for example, whenever a student goes into the math, for example, because it's going to happen. I mean, I mean, you have worked with more people outside Russia, so you know we Americans we get ready for the worst case scenario. So now I'm ready in case I have a caring that demands more time than someone else to tell them for me to explain the grammar. I can tell them that's not the lesson for. This is practice.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I have the whole background because I'm going to have Dima next to me selling the idea and then agreeing by them. So now I have like the.
But you also, it's important for you, like every time, for example, when you explain them, so guys, like use this, you phrase this when you talk, you can always come back to the presentation and say, remember I told you about active and passive, how do we make it? Do you remember I told you about lexical approach? Do you remember I told you about interval repetition, goal setting? Like remember about your goal, always think where you're going to. We're not doing it just for fun, yeah, we're doing it for you to get results. So every time you have these kind of things, you can always base your answers on this lecture. So this is like a little help for you, right?
Yeah, I just need one final thing, but I don't need. I need. So can you send me the link from the online platform? Do you have it with you?
Yes.
Because I don't have it with me. I mean, I think I have it in my email, but I have like a billion emails, so I don't find it. And
so we need to add you. I think we need Dima. Dima needs to add you, so you have a full access to all the lessons.
So yeah, because what I need to know is, so because for example, you send me some. Let's hope that. So you send me the lections, like this one day before. Sometimes when there's need to corrections, the same day. But also I would like to like make the lesson, the same lesson the student gets, make it really quick. So I know.
Yes, of course. That's actually our idea. So a teacher beforehand should actually look very quickly through the materials on the platform, look at their workbook, and then look at the teaching like materials. Yeah, so it's like a combo. So you have a better idea what's going on. But because there was a pilot version, it was a bit hectic. That's why we didn't have a structure. But now, thanks to the guys like the Dima, Natasha, and whatever, Raman, now we're gonna improve it, and you're actually gonna have an access.
Yeah, that would be great. So I can, like see beforehand, because sometimes they show me the lesson and I'm like, yeah, I don't have access to the lesson yet.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's have a little bit more time.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, so we'll do both. So we will give you an access to the whole list of lessons, and also Christina now add the link to the actual online lesson to every teacher's notes, right?
Yeah, I will start doing that. Right.
So when you will get your like teacher's notes, so you can click to the link and go straight to the online.
Yeah. On the Google Disk, every lesson that you open, there will be a link to the connected related lesson on the platform. So you don't have to like look at first, search it for yourself. You just can follow the link and go straight to their platform through the document. Okay, so let's have a little bit more time. I will show you materials for this trial lesson, this intermediate. And I will show you their, I will send you the link after. So you can look through it on the platform, right? It's not a lot, but sorry. I'm trying to work it out. Just a sec. Oof. Okay, super. Okay, so because you have only 30 minutes, and you actually need to not learn the presentation, but be aware of this presentation. Of course, the first time is going to take like maybe forever for you to say everything, but I'm sure when it's your like 10th time, you're going to do it like much faster. So for the materials, you actually have a link here, but you need to have an access in order to actually open it.
Okay.
So it's an intermediate. It looks similar. I'm sure you just maybe you've actually done some of these activities. So the first activity, it's just and I put like little reminders here. So you do this after this slide, right? So it's pair work. It's just questions, and you need to print it. We're not going to have workbooks because it's a test trial lesson. Their worksheets are at the end of the document. Yeah. So just conversation about the future. They ask each other those questions in pairs. That's it. You can read the questions with them together beforehand in order to, I don't know, maybe clarify some vocabulary, but it's not going to be any new vocabulary for them, I hope, if they studied the lesson on the platform. Then after that, you do actually put their little tips for you, what to say, but more. Then you do the this activity number, just like this word. Yeah, agreeing and disagreeing about technologies. So you need to just again, you can do it as a group or as pairs. Try to use different pairs. If they already talked to each other, to students, try to put them in different pairs or have it as a group. So they will get like a list. So you give them like a worksheet with agreeing and disagreeing vocabulary and stating your opinion. You print this beforehand, this little slips. Have them. Take it like you have it in your hand, and then each of the pair, or if you do it as a group, need to take the slip, read it, state their opinion using new vocabulary, and agree or disagree. Super simple. Yeah, like computer technology makes finding information faster and easier. I completely agree with this statement because yada yada yada. Yeah. Yeah. And the last activity is about board game. You need to print a board game and get dice. That's it. You can download it from your home, from your on the phone.
I have dice.
So, great, super. So you need dice for that. So it's about making predictions using future. If it's going to be, you think it's going to be easier for you, I can make like a worksheet that you can give them with the vocabulary from the platform. It's like a hint for them, so they don't have to like, I don't remember, I didn't do it, etc. So this is the phrases that they're going to practice. Probability, possibility, and etc. So it looks like this. I hate Google Docs. Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like this. It's just a board game. They roll a dice. They all start here. You roll a dice, and they go. For example, it's number 5. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have a topic like health, and because it's 5, you look here. They need to use. They need to make a prediction about health using will, probably, and probably won't. So they have to say, so health insurance will probably be more expensive in the future, or health in our country probably won't improve in the future. Yeah. Then they throw a dice, and for example, maybe it's 1. They go to number 1, and they use future simple to talk about money. In 2051, people won't use any money because it's all gonna be Bitcoins. Yeah. Then they throw a dice again. Maybe it's 3. They go 1 to 3, use the topic, and use this grammar from their platform. Yeah. So they use like might or might not to make a prediction. Is that clear? Those 3 activities.
Yeah.
Super.
Just because even though it was clear for me now, I'm going to raise this before the class. So there are instructions in the sheets right before, right?
Yeah, sure. Of
Okay,
course.
that's
Like,
because
as
like
before, like it looks as before,
okay.
as you had. Yeah.
Like usual.
Yeah, like usual.
Great.
Also, I made some worksheets for them. So like they have always like something in front of the eyes, because when it's new information, you can't get it from your head because it's new. It's like otherwise it's not gonna, it won't be new, right? So make them look into the hints. If they don't remember, they say, "Oh, I don't remember the word. I can't use it." It's like, of course you don't remember. It's new. Look at it. Look at it and use it. Like always, like put their heads into their worksheet where they see new words, new vocabulary, new structure, because you can't воспроизвести in Russian. You can't say something that's new for you. You have to look at, like you have to have something in front of your eyes, right? So you can print worksheets for them. They're also here. Yeah. So I also got little counters for them. Yeah. So they can move it around the board. There are some grammar points also for them. Yeah. So it's all here at the end of the document. Okay.
Okay.
It's really dark where am I? Just let me put on some lights.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. I'm finished.
Okay. So yeah, it was clear for me. So so pretty much it's this is like the standard for every trial lesson.
But yeah, there's gonna be some little things according to the level. Like the result part, the lesson, like the activities, of course, going to be different because the different levels. But the main idea that like you heard it.
Okay. Yeah, great. Also, it would be great because, for example, because as you might, they will. I mean, it's not going to be great, but we need to like explain them that because it is a practice lesson, and I don't carry like the dictionary with me all the time, I'm not going to be able to explain the nuances of the language. Like they always ask, for example, Natalia, she always asks me, for example, she asked me yesterday, what's the difference between only, just, and merely? So I told her, look, it's a difference in amount, but I need to see the definition of the dictionary so I can tell you specifically which one is bigger than the other one and when it's used, because they all mean the same, in a general sense, but I don't remember the definition of merely. I don't remember the definition of just, and I don't remember the definition of only. I know what they mean, but I don't remember the definition, and my ear is not working. So just for them to know, like if they have questions like those, they need to write me, because I always say, Natalia, write me after the lesson, because like they don't believe me, but after the lesson, I can delete disk. The power of autism. So I delete disk and I forget about the lesson, and they don't text me. Like so that's it. So it's okay for them to text me. Of course, if they text me at 2 a.m., I'm not answering.
Oh, yeah, of course, of course, of course.
But I will in the
So
morning. I will in the morning. So that's
so like you can always have a conversation with them yourself.
yeah, I'm gonna have a
Because we
conversation
can't,
with them.
yeah, because we can't explain them everything. We can't
Okay,
explain
cool.
everything, yeah. So like what you say to them, it sounds great to me.
Okay.
So please say that.
Okay.
Like I'm not a dictionary.
Mhm.
I'm human being, and I don't know everything in the
Mhm.
language, and I'm sure you don't know a lot of difference and nuances in Russian too. It's impossible. We're not a linguistic major, right?
Mhm.
And like I need some time to research. You can also do your own research. Remember, when you look something up yourself, you learn it better when if someone tells you actually something. So give me time, or just write to me after the lesson, and I will get the answer to you. So I don't see problem in that, right?
Okay, cool.
Okay, great. Dima, do you have anything to add? Are you here with us or not? I think he's not.
He's with us, but I think that
No, I don't.
all is fine. Yeah, so go on.
Okay, great. So this we finished. Everything I need to be.
We finished.
Yes,
Okay,
I
no,
think.
actually,
Yes.
okay, then yeah, then I can add. Just a second. Yeah, so the aim of the trial class is to present the system, but the main thing is to get them what they want. So like at the beginning, I interview all the students why they came, what their motivation, and during the presentation we show them their goals as a result, what they can achieve after the course. Also, it's like they should get the small result even after this 30 minutes trial class. So they should, like, how to say, in the end, they should feel, oh wow, like, even in 30 minutes I knew something new. So yeah, it works, and it should be kind of fun, and kind of entertaining. So the energy should be high. Yeah, in this way, yeah, it's easier to motivate them to buy this course.
okay.
Yeah.
So when you finish your part of presentation, what you can say, actually you can repeat what you've done during this lesson. Like you say, so guys, now you know how to state your opinion. So you can, instead of saying I think, you now can use this and this. Now you know how to express yourself talking about future, and you will always keep up a conversation about future technologies if you have a chance. So you need just to repeat everything what you've done and tell them. So you have use present perfect. Like you have done this, we have practiced this, now you can do this, and blah blah blah. Just for them to remind, like just a reminder what happened, because usually they like it, but then they forget that it happened.
Okay.
And also, yeah, like maybe I missed it. Christina, did you tell that in the end you need to summarize all mistakes which were done by everyone in a group and
Not
commented.
everyone. Yes, I've said it.
She mentioned it. There was
Okay.
this little part where it says note every mistake, and only call them if everyone makes them. And I'm pretty sure everyone is gonna make the same mistake. If it's
Yeah.
immediate, everyone will have the same mistake, which is forgetting the verbs, forgetting the answer,
Yeah.
and forgetting the article.
But you actually have to get the words from what they use. It can't be just some random things. If they said it, you have to write exactly what they said. Otherwise, it's not going to feel authentic. It's not going to feel that it's their mistakes. It's like random mistakes that he wants us to correct. It has to be their own words.
Yeah.
Maybe every time the mistakes will be different because students are different, levels sometimes different. Yes, so you have to actually monitor and listen and write them down.
Yeah, in this way you will show that you are an expert, and you need to give them compliments, like your level, like you're already good. It's good that you like knew something, some kind of compliment, and at the same time show them what they can improve by like explaining these common mistakes. So in this case, they can feel, oh, okay, I'm okay, got confident, I'm not that bad. It's like nice feeling, and also it will motivate them to join the course because they can become better.
Okay, cool.
I think, yeah, more or less, yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I have nothing else to say. Anything else has something else to say? No?
I have something to ask Alejandra, but it's not connected to the prior lesson. Can you stop the recording, please?
Oh, it's not me, it's Dima.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,